What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we're bringing you a really good game we had, and probably my favorite low tier ship to play, Tier 5 USN Destroyer, the premium destroyer, the Hill. Now, this is one you could actually get for free doing the last event we just finished, but I do recommend, and I did do a video on it if you want to check that out. I'll put a link down below, an Is It Worth It video, part of my Is It Worth It series. We go over the premium ships and World of War ships, and I break down the strengths and weaknesses and give my opinion on whether it's worth picking up the ship or not. And we did this, it kind of goes over that a bit more in depth. However, this game, I think the ship just is so much fun. I don't know. I feel like this ship is just such an awesome and fun ship if you enjoy USN destroyers, and you'll see why. And it's even gotten a bit Tier 5, kind of known as being a very SEAL clubby tier. I mean, we have a couple nasty DDs, Kamikaze R, Fujin, Kamikaze, the normal one, as well as a couple of really good tech tree ships that are known as being SEAL clubber ships, the Gremmy. There's tons of really good ships down here. And the Hill, to me, is like the SEAL clubber police. It's the Robin Hood of Tier 5. It's the ship that you can bring and just pick on these SEAL clubbers, and we've kind of made it a joke of the stream. We play all these games obviously live, twitch.tv/mejosh, and you're going to see a pretty fun game and a fun destroyer, and this is easily the most fun. I tend to not play low tiers this much, but I'll be honest, it's addicting to play this DD. And really, the Hill itself, I think for a lot of people is considered, I think people would consider it fairly weak. I know a lot of people, when it was first going through the work in progress phase, even when it was the buffed version, now if you didn't know, right before the ship went live, it got a bit of a nerf on its reload, which I thought it needed. But even on the buffed version, people thought the ship was weak then. Me, I'm like, man, this thing has so much firepower for a Tier 5 DD, and it just does so much work. I think my average damage is something nutty like 70,000 or something like this on this ship, and you'll see how much it can do. This ship is really good against basically everything. Against DD versus DD, yes, it has a higher detection of 6.4, but one of the nice things is it is a premium ship, so what you can do is you can throw down a fairly high level captain from one of your other ships, and obviously bring a lot of captain skills. The thing is though, this ship itself kind of, I wouldn't say quite requires, but you do need a higher level captain to be extremely successful. And what I mean by that is radio location is very good, since you do have a higher level, a higher detection at 6.4, with everything else being in the mid to low 5s. So having radio location is fantastic, as well as BFT being awesome on this. You also have a pretty good AA rating. You'll see us chunk down some planes. This is a really fun game. You don't really get games like this, and we're playing against a div of fairly solid players, this Jaguar being one of them. There's a Jaguar, Hill, Caesar, and I'm not calling them the SEAL clubbers, but you know, if you've ever played enough low tiers, you know you've gone against the Kamikaze R Fujin, and you know it's always fun when you do kind of beat the person that has a whole bunch of low tier ships. You kind of just feel nice, warm, and fuzzy inside, and you know, maybe you feel like, hey, maybe you saved a person learning the game. As a CC2, I tend to be kind of against the SEAL clubbing mentality as I play a Tier 5 DD, but it's always kind of nice when you get that kill. But this ship to me is easily the most fun I've ever had, or the most fun I've had in a long time playing low tiers. And we've kind of nicknamed it the SEAL Clubber Police, or we always play the King of the Hill theme song whenever we play this ship. But this thing is a monster. It has so much firepower. Even with BFT right now, you get down to, I think, a 3.6 second reload, which for 5 guns you will shred. And also, with having a high rate of fire, you can also pump in a bunch of damage when it comes to battleships, repairing fires, you know, sticking multiple fires on them, and then using the torps. Now the torps are a bit of a downside on this ship, 5.5 kilometers, but using islands correctly, you can pump in a lot of damage and a nice little miss. I thought those were actually going to hit, but a nice little miss right there. And overall, we'll try to pump in some damage against this Xinhua. The Xinhua tried to torp us a little bit, but he is going to go dark. But you'll see us kind of bring this game back. It's a low tier, so low tier games are always super goofy. There's usually a bunch of DDs that kind of just YOLO a little bit. Everyone's having fun, and mainly this is a tier that everyone's still learning the game and trying to get things done, maybe learn how to play a new ship. They've never played it, don't quite understand it. It's always interesting to see. When you look at things like the Pan Asian DDs, and they try to launch torps on a obviously a destroyer or something like that, or lots of that. Lots of dev strikes tend to happen, DDs versus battleships, because battleships are stationary. It's just, low tiers are really fun, and I tended to not really play too much low tiers because it just wasn't my thing. There's not really that much of a it's just goofy. It's definitely goofy to play low tiers every once in a while and get in there, but to me it kind of loses its charm after a while. But man, this ship has been so addicting. Again, I'll put a link down below to my Is It Worth It series, or Is It Worth It video, that kind of goes over how fun this ship is. And this one I found to just be an absolute farmer. I play a bit more of a gunboat style. I tend to open water a bit more, try to use its torpedoes if I can. You'll see us do a little bit of torpedo, and also try to hit some citadels. You'll see some actually goofy citadels on some of these Royal Navy cruisers as well, because they're just always, the low tiers are super, super, super goofy. But this one, so far, not too bad. We're kind of bringing it back. Mainly, I know that there are a couple ships that are fairly low. The 2 DDs they still have are both fairly low. And here you actually see some how much the ship can do for both AA. Having a low-tier ship with at least a little bit of AA is kind of nice, because, you know, low-tier planes are pretty fragile, and you can kind of deplane them fairly quickly. You really only have to worry about rocket planes when it comes to low tiers. And if you run into a low-tier CV, they most likely won't be able to do too much because they're still learning the class. But still, even having just a little bit of AA is kind of nice, and you'll see us work this down a little bit as you see the Jaguars over there. But we start to lose a few ships here. We start to lose a few ships on the other side. We lost our Congo, and there's the weird citadels. Royal Navy cruisers are always so weird. You get weird HE salvos, AP, get overpens from DDs. You know, there's all kinds of just goofy stuff that tends to happen. Probably could have got maybe a few more citadels here. But again, using that the lower tier stuff, having a long USN smoke is super, super strong. Using it to be able to just pump out a bunch of damage, and you'll see this as well as we go in. And we get a double sit on the HE salvo. Feels good on that. So sorry, little buddy. And I think we get 1 or 2 more. And here you can see, yeah, do I think the Hill is better than, would I take the Hill over something like the Gremmy? Let's say if it was ranked sprint again, would I call it stronger? No, but do I have way more fun playing this ship than I do the Gremmy, the Kamikaze R, the Fujins, the Kamikaze? Absolutely. I love the USN Destroyer playstyle. I love that it's like a mix between gunboat and torque boat, and it's this hybrid. I always call them like a hybrid class. This ship to me is just so much fun, and really, if you look at this map, it's literally us over here. We're holding down this entire side pretty much by ourselves. We had one other friend that was over here, but pretty much everyone's died, so just trying to keep it alive. We have a Karlsruhe, a Phoenix, a Wyoming, and we get that fire too, so he's going to go down, and we can work on this and kind of maybe bring this back. He gets the kill there, which is good. Starting to get some support. And we were worried about the Caesar. Caesar can definitely cause us some trouble here. And again, trying to hopefully not take too much damage, because I figure I'm going to have to fight this other hill when needed, and I want as much life as possible. Also, if I have to gunboat, I'll also do that. The Hermes, though, carpet bombs, not really that scary against the DDs. They tend to not hit DDs too much. They're more focused on the battleships and bigger cruisers and whatnot. Also, I think our Wyoming here gets Deb struck, I think. But here we go. We're kind of using the islands as our advantage. Obviously, we can use that, pump into a little bit of a better situation, and try to pump in this Caesar. I think he gets Deb struck here. This is why low tiers are fun, right? There's so much unorganized stuff that happens. It's so interesting to watch this kind of stuff happen, and it's the Wild West of warships. It really is, low tiers. And we're gonna try to pump in as much damage as we can right here. But this is what I'm talking about. It's just the DPM of this ship, and whenever I say DPM, I mean damage per minute. Its ability to pump out damage and just be able to do a lot, even against a battleship that's pushing in. I'm doing a lot of damage. Pumped in a double fire. He doesn't have a repair, so he's getting the double ticks on fire. He's getting a you know, it's not a lot of damage for the actual alpha of my HE, but we have a fairly fast reload. It is just like the low tier USN, fairly fast, and And also a nice little tip here: always know, and there's the dev strike right there. Always know your reload on, or your detection in smoke range. Very important to know that. But again, it always seems to have a fairly high fire chance. We aren't even running the flags. We're running the we're running just the normal setup. I don't have demo expert. I run BFT, concealment expert. I'll actually put a link down below to my build, but it's priority target, last stand, survivability expert, concealment expert, and then we pick up RF, or radio location, whatever you want to call it. Everyone calls it something else these days. Pick up radio location, and then I pick up BFT, and then adrenaline rush. So actually, even though if we lose a little bit of life, we get a little bit faster of a reload. So he did unluckily have his front tiers, or his front salvos there, but we will get that side and try to get that second, or that not the secondaries, but the superstructure, and we'll take down that ship. There goes our arsonist, because we burnt him down basically the entire thing. 4 kills, and also we have enough life to take down this hill, but still, I'm begging these guys to cap B. We've held down this whole side, almost 80,000 damage in a tier 5, which is pretty nuts. 80,000 damage in a low tier is pretty crazy, and me and this Karlsruhe on our team are going to do work. So this is something funny too. 2 hills enter the game, only 1 will leave. Who will win? And maybe he knows the secret that the hill is OP. I really think that this ship is underestimated by tons of people. Just ripping through other DDs, high rate of fire, just an absolute monster of a destroyer. And our Karlsruhe, this is actually kind of interesting. I was surprised to see this guy play like this. I said only 1 hill gets the Kraken. He had 4 kills, I had 4 kills, and it was a GG right there. But we will come back. So, yeah, I needed the Karl to go to BCAP, but he's like, nah, I got this. And what does he do? Just goes absolutely ham and takes out this New York. The Camelus Karlsruhe hero, pretty much. But I thought we were basically going to lose this. Our Langley's getting pushed in. He's getting too close, so he's probably going to die. And I was like, well, we'll just do what we can and try to make this. But it's a pretty interesting game how this one kind of ends. Now, obviously, we got a full life battleship to get through. We can't really stealth torp that much, but you'll see how we use our 5.5 kilometer torps in a way that we can still get use out of them. So obviously, if an object in motion keeps going that way, science class with Jash is if you can keep going forward, and I think this is something a lot of people don't do, is they'll see a battleship being 8.5 kilometers away and they only have 5 kilometer torps. They won't launch them. Obviously, they're not going to reach, right? You also see a lot of things where people will launch 5.5 kilometer torps at something going away, and they launch those but don't care. So I think it's both situations. But what we're going to do right here is 6.4 kilometer range on our detection and the 5.5 kilometers. So what we're trying to do in every situation like this is force the repair. Down goes our Langley, another bummer. But we're trying to get that. He's going full speed. He's full life, late game, low tier, probably going to sail in a relatively straight line. And so 7.7, 7.2, he'll probably make up that 2 kilometers. And all I need to do is get a flood on him. If I get a flood on him, most likely a repair. Battleships, even me, would probably repair that. And build us just a little bit back, so probably turn in. And we're trying to use a little bit of math, right? If you know, he's going to be going full speed. Will he make up that distance? And everyone always says this is the downside of the hill, is it has short torps, yada yada. But they are still usable. They definitely are. And here as well, we're going to try to maybe use that. And we actually snag him with the torp, get a reset, which is nice. But we don't get that flood. So the flood would have been pretty nice. We would have been able to fire a little bit. But I'm super low life. And look at our Karlsruhe. The Camelus Karlsruhe coming in with the big deeps on the New York, takes him out. I think he should have got a dev strike there, but takes him out, which is freaking awesome, and we're able to do some work. So gonna hold off on the shots right here, but what we will do is probably fire. We can also smoke up here, so we could go one of 2 ways. This is one thing I'll do a lot, and people will watch this, is I will fire. We need to stop the cap. That's one of the main things. I'll fire once the battleship has fired, because it gives you a decent window. You have a 20-second window of being detected. The Kaiser's going to have a longer reload than that, and so we'll try to force that, and we'll see if we can get lucky and see if they repair one fire. If they do, that's really good for us. And just like that, we're over 100k, or we're going to be over 100k just in a second. And Kaiser, luckily, isn't super accurate as a battleship. If you've ever played it, it's very hit and miss. It's very German when it comes to that. But one thing we can do too is use and abuse him firing. Also, I'm trying to get as low as possible, or as south as possible, so the Karlsruhe can keep detecting him. Because I don't want to get wrecked by planes. I only have 1900 life, so it's a bit of a bummer. But I was hoping that the Karlsruhe could maybe get him detected, but luckily he fires, so he's going to be spotted for at least 20 seconds, and then this Karlsruhe and I can work together. So I think the Hermes snags me just a bit here. Bit unlucky. Nice shot by the Hermes. And we'll keep pumping in, but remember, we have those 5.5 kilometer torps, and we're going to pump that damage in. But I think he actually stops. It was kind of interesting. But the Karlsruhe, he's not super healthy, but we're hanging in there. I was super happy. It was funny because he messaged me after the game like, oh my god, that was so crazy, which was really, really cool. But still, pumping in as much damage as possible, and we'll probably be able to burn this down. One of the things is we have a CV to deal with. Even though both our AAs aren't that good, if we just keep it up, he keeps going, I can chill in this USN smoke. The USN smoke is so strong in low tiers, and if you don't have to worry about an IGN-DD or something like that wrecking your face, it's really good. But I wish I could get kind of like a marks on my ship for how many of the low tier Steel Clubbing DDs we've been able to take out. It's always fun to kind of hump them down. And again, even though both of our AA aren't that good, we're able to actually shoot down a couple planes, knock down a second plane. We're up to 6 already, so now 7. Those will add up when it's lower tier. So we're trying to, one, shoot a little bit, and then focus on some other stuff, shoot a little bit, focus on some other stuff, and really just keep that reset. Low tier battleships tend to burn for a long time because they don't quite have like the skills ready. And I think the Karlsruhe goes around the corner. So we lose spots here, I think, in just a second. Yeah, we lose spots, but he is still on double fire, and we shot down another plane as well. I'm not super worried about anything else, just rocket planes. So we're going to chill in here as long as possible, shoot down some more planes, and we actually get really lucky. You know, hashtag just dodge. The Karlsruhe is going to push towards the CV, and even though the Karlsruhe isn't super healthy, and I said he has to lead the way. He has a 4,000 and some change life. I can't die, so I was thinking either we just straight up win this like bosses and bring it back, because now we're going to bring it back. Well, one of us can't die though, so if one of us dies or both of us die, obviously it's game over. One of us will still be pretty tough too. There's only 2 minutes left, and yeah, there's the rockets too. So my worst fear, so I imagine I was just dead. I figured I was just dead. Try to shoot down as many as possible, but I thought if the Karlsruhe kind of pushes in, maybe he could kill enough. And I figured, well, we'll just try to dodge and try to juke it as much as we can. The Hermes was hitting some shots. I mean, he did almost as much damage blind firing in smoke. And we're going to turn into it. Should you do a throw, maybe? And we got super lucky. So he's going to go into both of our AA, shoot down some of it, and knock down just a couple. Again, we'll try to turn. And we'll shoot down that plane, and I think the Karlsruhe helps us take out this last one. Oh no, he does. He ends up taking us just a bit, 400 life. So that's me heading out. Just saying GG's, man. So he's basically going to be out of rocket planes at this point. Karlsruhe is going to be pushing in, pumping in constant damage, and we are going to rotate. So we held on. This actually could have been a 7-kill game. It would have been really, really, really close. So I think I'm going to tell him I'm heading out. But hell yeah to this Karlsruhe hanging on. And I've been having so much fun with this ship. So much fun with the Hill. It's one of those ships that I think is really cool to kind of see. I think having these event ships like this and having some ships that everyone can kind of get. But I think this one is really going under the radar. It gets super outshined by the Gremmy, the Kamikazes, the Kamikaze clones, the Fujin, all that kind of stuff. People think of those as being these like, oh, these are so good for low tier. This one is really, really good, as well as being super fun if you enjoy USN destroyers. probably my current addiction, and it was so awesome. I was like, holy crap, we brought that back. We had 8 kills between me and this Karlsruhe. He did awesome for like probably a brand new player too. So that was really really good to see, and a nice little GG as their div, the one div with the other hill, had 6 kills. So we're able to take that out. So the seal clubbing police hill goes in there, takes home the victory with at tier 5 DD. 6 kills, could have been 7. 120, almost 130,000 damage at tier 5, which is crazy. Some decent credits for a tier 5 premium, all this kind of stuff. 11 planes, just a mix of everything. Fires, citadels, tor pits, all this kind of stuff. It's just such a fun ship. I'm interested in what you guys think, though. This tends to get like outshined by a lot of the tech tree ships. People love playing the Nicholas, the Clemson, stuff like that, the tech tree ones. The hill, I think, is kind of forgotten. You don't really see that many people playing it. I think a decent amount of people got it for free, but no one really plays it. I'm interested to see what you think of it. Is it this secret premium that no one really plays because these other like true champion premiums at tier 5 kind of take over? Also, even tier 5s, even getting up tiered, I feel like the hill up tiers really well. Against other stuff, against the Mahan, against the Farragut, against other tier 7s. I feel like it even up tiers pretty well. It does need a bit of a higher captain, I will say that, though. It does need radio location to make up for your higher detection. Does need BFT to kind of really pump out that damage. But other than that, you can get a high-level captain in if you have a Gearian or anything that's high-level and really throw it in there. But overall, a really fun game, and there we go. Had some fun in the hill, and I always love this ship. It's my addiction right now. I can't say that enough. But anyways, I'm interested in what you guys think about the hill. Put them in the comments down below, and I wanted to show you this fun game, a nice game in the Tier 5 Premium USN DD. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.